And then manager calls me into the locker room where on a road game, calls me into the locker room, and I was like, this is one of two things. I'm going up to AA or I'm going home.
Yeah.
Action. We're live. Kenny, welcome back.
Hey.
Izzy.
Hey.
Izzy, you're back. How are you, dude?
Doing great.
So, our producer, after we finished the last episode, got into a car accident leaving the house.
Yep.
And almost died. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Just felt like I got beat up by Jackie Chan, but it's good.
Beat up by Jackie Chan.
When I pulled in, I thought this was gonna be a car with a bill on. Like,
A new car?
yeah, like the YouTube.
Kenny,
Like, we gave a producer a car.
why didn't you buy him a new car?
We got a lot of work to do before that happens, bro.
Oh, yeah. You got a lot of videos to edit but before that happens, buddy.
Oh,
Kenny said that's what he went through every week.
yeah, 60 times.
Yeah. But
Not just once. I can do that in my sleep, bro.
we're glad that you're okay, Izzy, and we're glad that you're alive.
I fell out of the treehouse.
He fell out of the treehouse.
Bro.
Yeah.
Accidents. January is just the month of accidents, huh?
Yep. This thing. Hey, the treehouse is done, though. Finished.
What a
Sick.
guy.
Sick.
Mediocre woodworking.
Mr. Mediocre woodwork.
Mr. Mediocre. If you need any woodworking done at his house for his kids, he will do it.
Yes. Yes.
Or any tables built for the podcast,
Yeah.
he will do it.
I
Other
will
than
do
that,
it. I will do it. And people can place in their orders, but what I tell them, like, hey, I get it done when I get it done, and it's going to cost you what it's going to cost you. Like, there's no like timeline. You're not going to give me a timeline or anything like that.
have you
but-
ever made anything for somebody else, or
Yeah.
it's just like yourself and
No,
family?
I made a few things. Made a cutting board for some people. I made
A cutting board?
Mhm.
Wow, I bet that took a long time.
It actually
Just
does.
cut out some wood.
No, it actually does. Like, yeah, I made it like hardwood, like maple and
Oh yeah,
and-
were you gonna
and
make it plastic?
walnut, and then I glued it all together. So you cut it into pieces, kind of like I did this table.
So
but-
you made it harder on yourself. You could have just got a piece of wood and cut it, and
No,
Fixed
it's not. That's not. That would be a shitty cutting board.
that wouldn't be
A cutting board.
no, that wouldn't be Mr. Mediocre style.
Exactly.
So it would have been mediocre.
Yep.
And you
All these
provide
wood puns.
what?
All the wood puns. It would have.
Yeah. Would have.
Ooh.
Hey, he's got
mediocre.
hey,
I thought that was
Oh shoot!
Mr. Mediocre.
Ooh.
No, yes,
No.
that's what it is. It's got a lot of hardwood.
Yep. Hardwoods.
Yeah,
All day,
hardwood
baby.
floors, hardwood woods. All right, let's get into this. So, Niners, Ravens.
We'll see.
We predicted the NFC Championship. It's the Niners and the Lions, and now we're predicting the Super Bowl.
Well,
Niners and Ravens.
You're
Kenny
predicting.
thinks that
You're
the Niners
predicting.
can't beat the Lions.
No,
I
I
don't-
never said that. I think the Niners are a better team.
You just
but-
want the Lions to go.
But listen to me, bro. That when the Lions got screwed over in Dallas, when that botched 2-point conversion,
That was just part of the script.
part of the script, but it was like, hey, everybody else is against us. Fuck everybody else.
That is true.
So that's like the
Yeah.
mentality that they have.
kind of
And-
like the Packers did too. Young, and they're like, oh, like screw it, we're a young team. Like, what do we have to lose? And they were playing super confidently. And I think that when you get teams like that, they have like a chip on their back, or like I think
never
having
know,
a chip
bro.
on your shoulder is easier than have the monkey on your back. Like you're like
Yep,
you're the good team you're supposed to win.
exactly.
Versus like we're not supposed to win. Everybody thinks that we can't win. We got a chip on our shoulder,
Yep.
and we're coming for them.
Yeah, I'm. That's gonna be a fun game to watch. So, what
Yeah.
time is that game?
I
Is that
don't know.
Is that the evening one or is that the early one? That's got to be the evening.
Oh yeah, each
Yeah.
day. So they go Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, okay.
So I think that one's Sunday.
That one's Sunday. That one's during the birthday party.
I don't know. Well, I'm not going to the birthday party then. Sorry about it.
It's
Well,
not
I'll
like the
just-
football game's not going to be on.
yeah. Well, I gotta help you cook.
Yeah, you do. No, it's already going to be all cooked.
That is true. So this past weekend, Niners beat the Packers, right?
Yep.
And then Bills lost to the Chiefs. That's like the third time, right?
Mhm.
Tough. So now Josh Allen has that monkey on his back type thing to where he
Yep.
can't get over that.
That hump.
And it's tough, man. I feel like everybody wanted the Bills to lose or win. Everybody wanted the Bills to win, at least around here, because they're fans of Josh Allen. And I think a lot of people don't really like Patrick Mahomes and like the whole Kelsey.
But a lot of people like Kelsey though. A lot of people.
I think that he's getting more hate recently than he's getting love. I think people were switching with the whole Taylor Swift thing.
I don't know.
And how he's like Pfizer's Prince, and he's all over everything. Like he's becoming more off the field focused than like on the field. So people want those guys to lose.
He's still a baller though.
He's good as shit, yeah.
He's still really good.
But his brother Jason is out. That's sad.
Yeah.
Did you see him at the game with his shirt off, just rocking?
Just going crazy. What a dog, dude. I love that guy.
But so I guess the script was this weekend that the Chiefs were supposed to beat the Bills, and then Buccaneers were supposed to lose because they didn't call the timeout. So we have two scripts that Kenny's gonna explain to us how these scripts work.
Yeah.
Okay. So there was two incidents this weekend that were totally scripted, right? Buccaneers didn't call a timeout when they could potentially got the ball back and won the game, or maybe tied the game. Yes, they could have tied the game. They didn't call a timeout. They had a timeout left. They could have got the ball back and scored. They didn't call a timeout. They just left it.
Is this at the end of the game?
It was at the end of the game. They had one timeout left.
After
and there
St.
was
Brown got the first down?
No, it was 3rd and 12, and they kneeled it. They didn't call a timeout. So they would have had to punt or try a long field goal. Lions. But they didn't call a timeout.
No, that's not how it happened.
That's exactly how it happened.
Because it was second and 10 or it was 2nd and 9 or whatever. They ran the ball first down, so they got 1 yard, and then they threw it with like 1:40 left. And hey, bud, get out of here!
Crazy fan coming in.
And they threw it with a minute left and got the first down, which was like a super gutsy call. That's what happened.
No, here it is right here. Rashad Jennings was talking about this. Is the reason why I know he's smart. He played in the NFL, and he even actually said that it's scripted.
Get out, bud.
So let's see. So it would have been 4th and 13 if they called a timeout. So you can see it because he's pointing. So this is somebody who played in the NFL for a long time, right? Oh, let me see. So it was, 3rd and. So 4th quarter, 48 seconds. It's 3rd and 12. The score is 41-23. So they need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie the game. And they have one timeout. You can see it. They have one timeout right there under TB. And they don't call a timeout. So I don't know if this is like not right and it's just a video to make the video go, but he has the recording of the TV.
I remember when I was watching the game, they threw the first down. I was like, oh, that's game over. I don't remember.
Yeah. So somebody said in the comment, Todd Bowles' decision not to take a timeout at the end of Sunday's loss to the Lions was bad. His answer as to why was even worse. Baker Mayfield threw an interception that left 1:33 on the clock for the Lions, with Tampa Bay holding one timeout. The Lions could not run out the clock unless the Bucs didn't take their timeout. So they didn't take their timeout.
But they got a first down.
It shows right here 3rd and 12 with one timeout left, 48 seconds, and they're all like shaking hands and stuff after the game.
I don't know.
So is that part of the script? Like, when do you guys get the script?
So the script usually comes into our lockers on like Wednesday.
Oh, so you have to practice that quick, huh?
No, there's no stupid.
And then the second one,
there's no stinking scripts, bro.
So Bowles didn't call a timeout, right? And then that was in that game because they wanted the Lions to win. And then the Chiefs game, there was a guy going to tackle Patrick Mahomes to get a first down. And he's running at him to tackle him and then just totally turns and says, I'm going to tackle this guy over here that doesn't have the ball. Did you see that video?
Yeah. Who knows what's going on, dude? You have no idea what's going on.
Is he like afraid to get hit? or does he think that this guy's gonna block him, so he has to just go hit him? Like, your job is to tackle the guy with the ball, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never played in the NFL.
I've never tackled any.
Yeah, but
I have tackled somebody, but
oh yeah. Okay, so if you're on offense and Phillip or Matthew Stafford threw a pick, are you supposed to go tackle that guy, or are you just supposed to go hit whoever's in the way?
I mean, one, you're supposed to tackle the person with the ball. Yes, you are. Agreed. You are. So, I mean, I don't know. I have to see the play and see all the angles and everything because, one, you can go get blasted by somebody too, where it's.
The dude took a sharp left turn and just like, I'm going to go hit this guy over here. Part of the script or no?
I mean, he might have got paid.
Probably.
He's probably getting paid by the bookie or something.
Yeah, you got to get paid somehow.
Yeah. $500,000 or something like that. Hey, go miss a tackle on a game.
Not for long league. You got to get paid somehow.
You got to get it when you can. Get in where you fit in.
So how like elite of a player or what level of a player do you need to be in order to get the script?
I think you got to be the quarterbacks and
coaches,
coaches
and quarterbacks.
Yeah, coaches and quarterbacks, because I mean those are the people who like control the game,
Yeah, and then whoever's eventually going to work for ESPN after their career, they probably have the script too. Right?
That's like the biggest, like craziest thing I've ever heard. The script, like, there's no way that's even a thing.
You're just not on a high enough level to be able to have ever received a script, or you're not in the meetings, dude. You're just not in the meetings.
That's true. I mean, who knows? Who knows? But I've never received a script, and probably a lot of people thought I was. Hey, Kenny's blowing the game for him.
Does number 79 know that he's supposed to block the guy in front of him?
No doubt. Yeah, it's probably had a lot of question marks on some of my plays for sure.
I mean, that's okay though. At least you were there.
I was there.
And you played. Have you ever made a tackle in your career?
I have. I think I have 2.
So you have 2 tackles and you have a muffed punt.
Yeah.
No, a muffed free kick. Big difference,
punt
right?
Punt after a safety.
Punt after a safety.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah.
Izzy, you want to hear a really funny story about Kenny not catching a ball in the NFL? Go ahead, tell him.
All right.
Actually, tell all the listeners too. Go ahead.
It was Thursday Night Football.
Oh, that means a lot of people are watching.
A lot of people are watching.
Yeah.
We are playing the Broncos. And so basically we got a
safety. At home or away?
At home. We got a safety.
Home crowd booing him.
We got a safety. And then I was on kickoff return at the time. So all they did was just stretch out the kickoff return team. So I was the only person from the 50-yard line to like the 10-yard line. I was at like the 25, 30, and I was the only person. And the rule is on kickoff return, if the ball goes over your head, you don't back up, right? You don't back up. So the punter on the Broncos kicks it a mile in the air. It is the highest ball I've ever seen in my life. And it's just swirling and like going in circles in the air.
Spiral, right? They
spiral,
cook it in a spiral.
Yeah, and it's so hard to catch those. So the guy, I have to run all the way up to like, I'm at the 25, 30. I have to run all the way up to the 45-yard line to try to catch this ball because the next closest person behind me is on the 10-yard line. So he would have to have run 35 yards to catch this punt. Well, I have to run like 10, 15. And the people on the front lines aren't supposed to back up to catch the ball. So they just kick it high enough and far enough so it's over the front line people. So it goes to me.
Fat offensive lineman.
The fat offensive lineman who's covering 40 yards of the field.
So basically the punter, because the punter kicks it. It's not the kicker, right?
It's the punter, yeah.
So the punter just pulled like the water boy, like, where's my bitch?
79.
Where's my bitch?
No, it had to have been like planned from day one where it's like, all right, this situation, like we're going to sky kick it to this guy.
Yeah, in film, they're just like, hey, look at Wiggins out there. If we ever get in this position, let's kick it to him. Like,
no doubt.
Perfect.
Yeah, but I practice punts and kick returns because I want to kick a return every week, 2 times a week. So I have to go out there. I have to catch five balls off the jugs after practice or before practice, like every week, and literally
easy.
Don't drop them ever.
So you were, when the ball was kicked to you. You were basically like thinking, I'm about to catch this and run it for a touchdown.
No. Fair catch. Like once the ball went in the air, my hand was up in the
Fair catch.
Hand up in the air, fair catch, right? Like
Yeah.
not even thinking about trying to take it to the house.
Yeah.
Because that's not me. And then, so I'm running up and I'm catching it, and all of a sudden it just takes a sharp left, right? It just takes a sharp left turn, like curls, and I reach out and like, you want to catch those with your body and like your arms cradled and everything like that, but once it like took that sharp left, I stuck my arms out and it just went right through my arms.
Because it's kicked at a spiral, but it's kind of
swirling, right? It's swirling, and I'm
down.
like, and I'm pretty confident. Like I'm running up there, I'm waving it off, and it just goes right through my arms, and I fumble it, and it just, I get to the sidelines.
Other team got the ball.
Other teams recovered it. We ended up winning the game, so it wasn't like that huge of a play, or didn't make a big deal. We were up like a lot at the time anyway. And then, no, Chargers.
What do you think about that? He's not making the big guys look good, huh? Yeah, find the video right now. He's going to.
But also in that game, so like 2 kickoffs before that, I murdered somebody.
Is this the same game to where your wife said, "Why are you picking on the little guys?" And then you were just like, "I have the specific person that I have to block. I don't pick the smallest guys." Just
I
like
got number 2, and I would just set him up. No, not number 2, like the second guy. Yeah, second guy in, and I would set him up. I was really
like
good.
a little DB or what?
It was. I think he was a receiver. I was so good at setting them up, like as I did kickoff return in college. And everything.
So hold on, time out real quick. So as person on kickoff, do they kind of have an idea of who's going to block them and they try to avoid it, or are they just running down to where you're kind of like trying to hide, thinking you're going to block somebody else, and then you go and block this guy?
That's what I do. But like,
do you think they know who is going to block them, or they have an idea of a couple of people?
I mean, they have an idea, but there's different schemes and there's different plays.
Like if
if we're running like a counter or whatever, like I'll fake one way and then run this way and then block this guy, or it's something like, or the double team is going to be at the 4 or the 5 or the 3 or the 2 or whatever it is. So like they don't know, they're guessing. They have to like read it and all that kind of stuff, just like a normal play. And then, but I would always just set up, like if I'm blocking number 2, I would run down and I would be staring at 3 the whole entire time. And the last second turn and just like, I melted this dude, like did a front flip over him, knocked his helmet off. Like it was sick. It was one of my best hits ever.
I mean, when a 320-pound lineman picks on a 180-pound a whiteout, that's probably what's going to end up happening, right?
Dude, just let me live, bro.
I mean, I'm just saying, like,
I'll tell you what, though.
Like, if you guys were to go heads up, you smacked him. But
no doubt.
But to be able to try to block him is hard.
In space is
so
really
you
hard.
have to try to set him up, because if you went straight up, he'd just run right around.
Yeah, he would just shake me, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yep. Like,
it's tough, dude. It's harder than you think. Like,
I bet it. Well, I mean, just tackling somebody in the open field that's the same speed.
Yep.
Right? Like, you're not as fast as that guy.
No.
Like, tackling him in the open field's hard, so you have to use that.
Did you find it, Izzy?
Yeah. It says that they're updating the script right now, so it's
You said they're updating the script.
Dude, yeah, dude. That was a high and low for sure of those like my career, right? In the same game. Like my best special teams play in the NFL, and then my worst special teams play.
Did you play more special teams before you were a starter?
Yeah.
And then when you were a starter, did you still play special teams or not?
100%. Yeah. I tried to go on the field as much as I could.
Yeah.
Because I just was like, at that time, I wasn't making a big check, and like every play would be certain money for player performance.
Oh, you get bonuses in certain games?
Or every snap.
How does that work?
So how player performance works is there's an algorithm that goes on. So the amount of money that you take towards the salary cap
for the team counts in your play count. I see.
So like Phillip is making whatever 20 million.
So he doesn't get
as much, but he still gets like a certain dollar amount per play.
And this is paid out at the end or every
season.
game check.
So it's kind of like at the end of the season. So one year I was 20th in the whole league.
Player performance. Is that good?
Hell yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know, because like other guys might have opportunities. Like, does Phillip have as many opportunities, or he just doesn't have the opportunity to make as much money?
He doesn't have the opportunity to.
But he has more opportunities than most players because he's touching the ball almost every time.
No,
or does it go?
It's the snaps.
It's for your specific position,
It's
or just
total
offense?
total offense, total defense, total special teams. So it's like if there's 10,000 snaps or whatever, or that's a lot. If there's 1,000 snaps on offense, Philip probably played all 1,000 of those snaps.
Yeah.
And if I played 800 of those snaps, I'm getting way more than he is.
Oh, so if you're yeah.
It depends on my salary cap.
But then also if you're on special teams,
it's
then
a different,
you're
it's a
getting
different
more.
pool. Yeah, it's a different pool.
You're getting more opportunities for it though, because he's not playing special teams.
No. But it's also my hit towards the salary cap is so much smaller. That's why my number per play is so much higher.
Yeah, so he would get $1 per every $10 that you can probably get or something.
Probably, yeah. I got 100 and he got 1.
Yeah. So that's how I think baseball took that into consideration a little bit, because I think Marcus was talking about it. They have that pool of money that goes towards player performance, and it's kind of at the end of the year, if you led a certain category, then you won this money. Because there's a lot of players in the big leagues that are some of the best players in the league that are making league minimum.
Yeah.
And then some guys that are like washed up making $35 million a year because it's the back end of a 7-year deal or something.
That's what it's like forced to like combat, right?
Yeah.
Like these guys who are like undrafted free agents and they're starting and they're getting a $500,000 salary, while this guy over here they're playing the same amount of reps as, and he's making $10 million. And so it's like it just offsets that a little bit. There's no way I'm catching that $10 million for my player performance, but it helps at the end of the day.
Yeah, then you're not stuck making league minimum doing the same work, best player in the league. Yeah, because that's how
it's
it was.
not even
when
it's
Trout
not even close to
when Trout kind of became the best player in the league. He was making league minimum, and then the next year he got like a bonus of
Judge
like
too, right? And that's what happened with Judge.
I mean, like, all those guys, because in baseball you don't make money until after 6 years.
Crazy.
And the majority of the best players in the league are in that, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 year mark.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because it's harder to get established that way. But sports is changing. Football is a lot different than when you got in. Baseball is a lot different than when I got in or even got out. Golf is completely different.
Yep.
Basketball is completely different. College sports is
crazy.
Completely different. Like I saw something a coach or a trainer or whatever talking about kids nowadays, how remember like the big thing was like, oh, I'm going D1. Oh, he went D1, whatever. Now it's almost like D2 is the new D1. Like, don't be afraid to let your kids go D2.
Yep.
Because D1 isn't the same, and very few people go because they're not recruiting as much. It was like this guy was in Georgia and he was talking about all the counties. There was like 150 kids went D1 from this county, 100 went this county, 50 went from this county, all this, and it was like a bunch of kids that went D1 before NIL. Now it was like there was only 100 scholarships or 150 scholarships for the whole entire state of Georgia that went D1. So there's, and I guess it's not really scholarships anymore. What is it, like a contract or pay? Like I don't know how that works, but I guess offer of you coming to play or however much money they're going to pay you. Because they're recruiting from the portal nowadays. So certain schools probably have a lot more first-year guys coming in from high school. Other schools are just gonna recruit from other teams, pay them, like they're a free agent in the market, right? And then you have Deion. Shoot, I think Deion said something like, how much you got to pay these guys, and it was like, $50,000. You got to pay $50,000. And he goes, 50 ain't getting you anything in this game. Like $50,000 to pay an 18-year-old high school student is not enough to get a good player to go to your school.
Crazy. It's
right?
crazy.
You have kids making millions.
What's his name? Matt Rule for the Nebraska. He was like, they're like, are you gonna recruit a quarterback this year or try to get one in the portal? He's like, you got $2 million?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
He's like,
to get a good one.
Yeah.
Or shoot, 200,000 for like a backup.
Yeah.
Or something.
He's like, you guys. He's like, you want to give me $2 million so I can get a quarterback?
And if you think about it, like, so people are like, oh, these players are getting paid or what? This really changed the game. But it's like, look at how much money college football makes.
No doubt.
It's crazy. they make just as much as the NFL sometimes.
There should be it's going to change, right? It has to change. There's going to be some sort of regulation on it or whatever. But I always thought that they should regulate it where you give a kid, pay him whatever, cap what he can make, right? But then everything else goes into a retirement fund.
Yeah, I heard somebody say
where
that.
it's like each year that you're in school or whatever, you get a certain amount of money going into a 401k. You find it?
Izzy just found the video. Don't worry, we're gonna have him put
Cool.
While he's telling that story, Izzy's gonna overlay it so everybody can see what he's talking about.
Perfect. Look up the video of me smacking the guy too, if you can find that one.
Look up the video of him smacking Rob Golden too. Sorry, Rob.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so there should be some sort of like, and you get that when you graduate.
Yeah.
So
if you graduate,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
or if you go
graduate
to the league, then that goes somewhere else because you got paid elsewhere.
I don't think so. I think you should get it no matter if you go to the league or if you graduate, you should get it. Because then you're like,
whenever you're done, I think that you should get it because they're young kids at the same time. So some of them can get in trouble, but then some of them are good with it. They can do good. But I don't know. It's something that has to be adjusted. I believe that it has to be regulated to some sort. I remember somebody was saying like your first year you can get the money but you can't take it, sort of a thing. Like it goes into a fund and then the next year you can start getting paid or something because the first year players like what are you getting paid for? Number one, you haven't established it and you're like you haven't learned what that's like anyways.
Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy. I couldn't imagine like getting that like those checks when I was 18, 19. Oh my gosh. Like that would be crazy.
Don't lie, you wouldn't have got a check. You'd have been.
I said I couldn't imagine. I wouldn't have got one, but I'm just saying I couldn't imagine. I might have.
But you have like
at this point I might have transferred after my junior year and played my senior year somewhere, and got paid.
And that's what guys are doing. Instead of going to the NFL, they can transfer and make that money, and then maybe have a better year and then go in the first round or something. Like there's, and now you see. Are you? So how did it work? Okay, first I'll answer this because I'm gonna ask another question. When could you have hired an agent in college to go to the NFL? It was after you declared?
Yes, after you declared.
But when you declared, are you still going to school? Like if I guess it just depends. Like if the kid wanted to graduate, he can go to school. If he didn't, then he's just going to not go anymore.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think once you hire an agent, because I didn't talk to anybody until after my senior year. So like I was like, I'm not even going to worry about that and everything. Because I wasn't like a super high draft guy or whatever, obviously. Yeah, I don't know the exact rules. I know you couldn't take any money from them, but you could talk to them
until you got drafted.
Or you were like out of school. So like a lot of people would like after your senior season, because it's in the fall, they would just leave if they were done with school or whatever. Or they would just say, "Screw it, I'm going to go." So train.
What about like can they pay for stuff though? Like,
yeah, they can pay for like not while you're in school,
but the training. So like the guys that are working out at
AP, they're all getting paid for. Yeah.
So the guys that are working at the gym, their agent's paying for that. That's okay. Yep. But can they? I mean, agent's not going to pay you. You got to pay your agent, right?
Yeah,
but like he's paying you.
The agents will pay for this in like so that they'll put up this front money or whatever. Say it's $10,000
for you to sign with them or something.
For you to train.
Yeah.
So they'll put that money up, but then once you sign or whatever, get your first check, you pay that back.
Yeah. Because baseball, you can't hire an agent until after you get drafted.
Oh, really?
So you have an agent, but they're like an advisor. And they advise you and help you. So they're the ones that are like, I don't know if it's changed, but they're the ones that they're negotiating your contract and talking to teams, but you can't pay them until after you sign or after you get drafted. So I guess potentially, at least when I got drafted, like this guy can help you and then you not sign with them and then just like keep the money.
Yeah.
Like you're screwed if you do that. But you can't hire him until after you get drafted.
I remember signing with my agent like right after my senior season.
And then he helped you get on a team basically too.
Yeah, like because mine was like the lockout, right? Like I knew I was going to get a shot somewhere, but I didn't know when it was going to happen or whatever. And then right when the lockout lifted, that was just like pandemonium, right? It was just like everyone was trying to sign people and then get people in.
Because you had to sign them before a certain time before the lockout happened, or
no, the lockout was
already going
after the lockout ended. So like,
oh yeah.
So the draft happened, and usually how it happens,
fast, huh?
Like the draft ends. So like whatever, it's like the 7th round. People are like, okay, this guy might go as a free agent or whatever. So they start calling you and be like, you signed right that day.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you commit to being a free agent for the 49ers or whatever. And then that couldn't happen with my year. So we waited like 3 or 4 months until August. And then that's when it was like, okay, lockout lifted. Everyone signed. 2 days later, first day of training camp.
Yeah.
So it was like,
fast.
It was super fast, super like I was literally sleeping on my buddy's couch, like in Fresno. Like people moved out of his house. I was the only one living in his house. It was just a couch in there. And I had my laptop with like 4 movies on there that I just watched over and over again. And I was just like living like a bum, right? Like, cause I didn't know when my next, like when the call was going to come, if it was ever going to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It was weird time in my life, bro. Weird time in my life.
So you're just sitting in this empty house.
Literally all they didn't have a TV. It was a couch, no beds.
Everybody else was living in the house though, or everybody was gone.
Everybody was gone. Like, so it was my buddy's girlfriends, all her friends lived in the house and they all moved out. And I was like, hey dude, can I just crash there? And he was like, there's no beds or anything there. I was like, I don't care. He's like, you can sleep on the couch. I was like, fine, I'll sleep on the couch. And I just slept on the couch for like 3 months. And
so basically the whole summer.
Basically like just probably like 2, like June and July. And then like August 1st or 2nd or whatever was like when the lockout lifted.
Izzy, can you put the big screen on there so I can see the time? Yeah, so that was like the reason why I asked. But the reason why I asked about the agents and stuff is, do you think, or actually, do you know, can college players have agents, or do they have agents?
I don't know now with the whole NIL stuff.
So why I'm asking is, Caleb Williams has all these deals with outsourced.
They might have like a
football, like Carlos
marketing.
Jr.,
they might have a marketing team,
is
or
that
like
the
advertising
college
team.
doing that?
Maybe, I don't know. I bet he has his own. For sure.
Yeah,
I would.
Are you allowed to have that? You know what I mean?
I would assume you would.
Because you didn't used to be able to have it. So you have somebody representing you to getting you these deals, or you go and sign this.
Yeah, that's weird.
Because you used to get paid under the table for your signings, right?
Yeah.
Now you're getting paid over the table for your signings.
Yeah.
Basically, everybody knows about it.
Yeah, that's a different landscape, bro. It's different to kind of think about now.
Yeah. Well, and then you have Arch Manning, one of the highest paid players in college football, hasn't played.
Didn't snap.
And then their quarterback said that he's going to come back, and he's fine with it. They thought he was going to enter the portal. He's like, no, I'm staying here in Texas. I have
why?
No point. Yeah, he's getting paid to not get hit in the head.
Yeah. Dude, these kids are going to.
Well, and he still gets to play 3 years, right?
Yeah.
After this, because he can choose to redshirt or. Who's the guy? There was a player that he's playing his 9th season.
Yeah, unbelievable. Crazy. Some tight end in Miami or something like that? Dude,
because you get your COVID year, your red shirt, your gray shirt, however many
medical red shirt,
or you just quit and come back.
Dude, 9 years of college football, it's unreal. He's like 40.
Those guys that don't play 9 years in NFL, dude. Hey, well, college football is the new NFL. Guys are getting paid the same. So
yeah, dude. I mean, it's the football world is nuts right now, and
especially with the scripts and everything going on.
It's weird to kind of sit back and like watch it unfold too, because like it a certain way, right? You know it like how you went through it.
Yeah.
And now it's like something completely different. So you think you know everything, but it's like this is a whole new uncharted territory, like whole new waters to be tested. And like,
yeah,
if my kids want to play like football and they get the opportunity to play college, like how am I going to navigate it? Because it's going to be so much different than when I went through it. You know?
Yeah. Even like when I think of the draft in baseball, when I got drafted, it changed a couple years after that.
Yeah.
And then it changed again with like the COVID stuff. Like there's only, I don't know exactly, but I think there's only like 20 rounds. There was 50 when I got drafted, and you could have got paid whatever you wanted. Now it's slotted, and they're making a lot more than I was. The year after I got drafted, I think slot went way up. like guys in the 5th round that would normally get like 150 grand to sign. Then they were getting like 200 or 300, 400. Like,
Where'd you get
way
drafted?
more.
What'd you get drafted?
2011,
What
17th round, 17 out of 50. Doesn't happen like that anymore.
I got drafted in the 8th round.
There's only 7 rounds in the NFL.
8th round draft pick, bro.
Oh,
First
man.
pick of the 8th round.
Do you know what would have got you drafted though?
If I caught that punt,
No. If you'd had Magic Mind.
Magic Mind.
Ooh,
At that time?
sneaky. It's that
Sneaky.
time. Magic Mind. It helps your mind become magic. Like I said, this is awesome. You drink it with your caffeine. You take it for like 2 or 3 days, and then you start to see the effects. And I see the effects and how it works for my wife. So, quick story: Tootie was taking like, I think it was like magnesium or something that kind of helps you. I don't know if it's helped you focus or something, but it didn't have. So she was like, got like super anxious, and she had like high anxiety. Like, we would go out to parties and she's like, I don't want to meet these people. Like, she normally has a little bit, but like not like this. So we went to a party Friday night, and after meeting like thousands of people, she's like, all right, I'm ready to go. And I was like, all right, I'm cool. Like, it could be overwhelming, but she was like, I don't know why I felt like that. Like, I felt terrible. And she was taking like some, supplement for health or whatever. And then she looked it up that it could cause like anxiety, and the thing to counter the anxiety to take was lion's mane mushrooms, and that's one of the ingredients right here in Magic Mind. You got the matcha for the energy, you got the ashwagandha to chill the stress and anxiety, and
ashwagandha,
and you also have the lion's mane and this other mushroom that I don't want to butcher it, but you have these 2 mushrooms that keep you calm. So you mix the focus with the energy and the calmness all day. It's legit. You love it. You're like addicted.
I do. I'm a believer. I'm a Magic Mind believer.
And it's hard to get this guy to believe anything. But don't take our word for it. Don't take our word for it. Try it yourself in January. So you have a little over a week left. They have a deal going on right now. You get 1 month free when you sign up for 3 months. So subscription, it shows up every month. You don't have to worry about it. Also, if you go to magicmind.com/Jan 1 degree. So you go JAN, just like January, but those 3 letters, 1 degree. It's going to take you to the site. You will get that 1 month free. And then if you also put in this code, check this, Kenny. If you put in the code 1degree20 when you check out, they'll give you even more discount.
Let's go.
More discount. So the boys at 1 degree are hooking you guys up. This is a legit healthy thing. Take it every day, and it'll change your life. It certainly helped me. Like, it's not life-changing. You're not going to become like the dude off of the Limitless movie, but it does help. It does help. Sneaky, like, it helps. So Tootie, I had to get her some too, so she can get her lion's mane and her ashwagandha.
So she's not freaking out.
Yeah, so she's not freaking out. So try it. I believe it's at Sprouts right now if you want to try it for yourself. The taste is good, but the benefits are even better.
See, that's the one thing where I'm like, all right, like usually these things taste like crap.
Tastes like crap.
But
this one's good.
This
I
one
like
doesn't
it.
taste bad at all.
And it has that taste of where you drink it, you're like, ooh, I'm going to get stuff done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which is kind of hits you and you're just like, ooh.
Yeah, so check that. Go to magicmind.com/Jan 1 degree for this month, and it's for this month only. So
Hurry up.
Do it right now.
Hurry up.
Also, use that promo code 1degree20. You'll get even more discount. All right. Alphalit, Mayweather Boxing and Fitness, Mr. Mediocre.
Let's go.
We got to add in the Mr. Mediocre for you.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, if you want these lights right here, this nice V Alphalit Fresno, tell them the boys at 1 degree sent you. They will take care of you. Maybe one of us will even deliver the letters for you.
Probably be
You
me.
never know.
Probably be me.
Also,
We're going to get Izzy to do it too.
yeah, actually, Izzy's going to start delivering those. Also, right now, if you want 1 month free at Mayweather Boxing and Fitness, you have until the end of the month to go sign up. So walk in there, say, hey, Kenny Wiggins, Tyson Perez told me to come in and I get a month for free. They'll be like, I got you. Take advantage of that.
People just want to see Tyson and they're dancing.
Man, I'm telling you what, I'm putting on a show, dude.
I know.
No.
You're like my like number one like.
Stop it. Let
You're
me
like-
tell you something. We're in this together. You know? We're in this together.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. Back to business. Kenny, what do you want to know about me?
Bro, I mean, you kind of like we're kind of already talking about it, like the whole draft process, right? Like, go back to like where you were like in high school. I know you kind of like made some commitments, did kind of bounce around a little bit. Like, go through that process and how like you, kind of
How this changed me as a man.
yeah, not even how it changed you, but like how you like learn from, all right, not being the guy in high school and then going to a JC and then kind of being the guy and then getting drafted where you got drafted and then committing to SC, all that kind of stuff where it was the ups and downs a little bit for that happened, like super highs, super lows, super highs, super lows in like such a short period of time.
Yeah, I think you hit it right there when you said super highs, super lows, super highs, super lows. When you're young, you don't know how to stay even.
Yeah.
And I think that's why now you and I have success later in our career and after our career because of all the things that we went through in the beginning of our career. Like you literally just said you slept on a couch.
Yeah.
Like I slept on people's floors, like doing that to where those are your lows, but you don't really know because you're just a kid thinking that you don't really have like any responsibilities that you're dealing with. You just have a goal. So those like the highs and the lows, like ups and downs taught me to I kind of learned how to be even keel, that you can't really get too high because the higher you go, the farther that you're going to go back down. But then also at the same time, if you are down at the bottom, you can always come back up.
Yeah.
Like it's not as big of a deal and it's not as bad as you think when you're in that moment as when you're out of that moment, because you're always going to look back and be like, why did I make that such a big deal? And for me, like when I was in high school, I went to a smaller high school. I played 3 sports. I was an all-star in all those 3 sports. I mean, it's a little bit easier. Like the competition is not as good. But when we did play the bigger schools, like I was still like the best player. So I knew that I had a chance to do something. And sports was the only thing that I really thought that I could have success in. So I kind of put all my eggs in one basket, which every athlete does.
Yep.
I think you have to.
Yeah.
Because if you're 1 foot in, you're going to get crushed.
You can't half-ass 2 things. You have to whole-ass 1 thing.
Yeah. And whole ass the crap out of it. You know
doubt.
what I mean? Like, and you have to. So the draft process for me kind of started in high school. I started talking to scouts and stuff like when I was a sophomore, because that's when I really started like to develop. I was kind of a late bloomer. When I was a freshman, I used to get made fun of when I played quarterback by the guys in varsity because I had like a high pitched voice. My my balls hadn't dropped yet, so I'd be like, ready, set. So like they'd make fun of me for that, right? And then so tail end of my sophomore year is when I started to grow and started to get better. I was always good at sports. I was always athletic. I can play any sport. Difference in like athleticism and like hand-eye coordination. Like I wasn't the biggest, the fastest, or can jump out of the building. I can do decent at all of them, but I just had like the hand-eye coordination to be able to do everything. And like that's how my dad is. He's just like he's just good at everything. So I can play sports. Since I was a kid, I always played sports, and then the scouts started to talk to me like colleges and even like professionals when I was like a sophomore, junior in high school for baseball. But I liked football and basketball, and I was like, oh, okay, baseball's there. That's my way out, right? But I enjoyed playing football. I enjoyed playing basketball. And then senior year of high school, I actually didn't even play baseball until they got into league. So like the first couple of games during the season in high school starting like, February, you have like tournaments, and then you're playing in March, and then league starts around April, and then you play until like May, right? I didn't start playing until almost April because our basketball team went all the way to the state playoffs. And that was like a month after the season started for baseball. And then I have to like ramp up and throw and play. So I didn't play the first couple of games I was there. Like I went and hit, but I didn't pitch or anything. So senior year, I didn't play as much, but then once league came, then, I had a pretty good year. It was like pitcher of the year or whatever. And that's where my focus on pitching came from, because I became like a good pitcher. And then back then it was like there wasn't very many 2-way guys. It was like you either pitched or you hit.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I'm gonna be a pitcher. I had to focus on pitching, right? And then so I went to Fresno City. Had like some offers to kind of like walk on out of high school, but I didn't have very good grades, so that was like the hard part for me. Went to City, had a really good year there in 2011, then ended up getting drafted. And we kind of talked about in a previous episode, you kind of feel like you're, bigger than your britches, and then you get knocked back really quick. So that's what happened to me. Not that I got knocked back, but I got drafted in 2011. I went and played short season rookie ball in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee. I was in the Appalachian League. What was the town called? It was like the best. It was the best stadium in the league. Like really nice. So I went from playing at Fresno City. It's just like a normal high school field. Some of the high school here, like some of the Clovis schools, are better than Fresno City's field, right? So I went from playing there to like this, super nice stadium, and I was like, this is cool. I made it, and I was a long way from making it. I still had like 8 more levels to go until I got to the big leagues. So 2011 short season, had a pretty good year. 2012 came around, and that's when I came to the Cal League. I went to High A and had a really good year. Like I was a starter. That's what kind of took off for me, gave me the confidence that maybe I can do this thing. You like always have the confidence, but then when you see this other dude that's like
the belief.
Wait, yeah, exactly.
The belief, not the confidence yet.
Yeah, exactly. So that starts to happen, but then you always kind of get discouraged because you see this other dude. It's like, man, this dude's throwing 98. I got no chance, right? Like that, like all those doubts start to creep in, but you just keep pushing along. So I didn't have like the mental fortitude or toughness or even like mental awareness to really know how to win, how to succeed, how to use my skills to my advantage. I didn't know that yet. I just thought that I was good, everybody else was good, who's going to make it type of a thing. Mm-hmm. And then so 2012 I had a pretty good year. That's when I, shared a small 2-bedroom apartment with 4 other guys, and you're sleeping on the ground. Like you're grinding, but you're not. Like you're going to the field with your boys every day. Like you're watching movies, you're doing all that fun stuff. Yeah, it's cool. And then 2013 came around. This is when they had like the piggyback system. So they had 2 starters at every level. So instead of having a reliever, a starter would throw, and then he would throw 5 innings, and then the next guy would come in and he'd throw the last 4 innings. And you would throw every 4 days instead of 5 days. And we had a stack. This is when Astros started trading all their guys away and getting in all of this talent. And I was a part of like the talent that was supposed to come up after my first year. But now we have 8 starters at every position, and they're all studs. Yeah. Because they just traded a big leaguer, like Hunter Pence, like all of these dudes that were good. They're trading them for minor league talent. So the minor leagues were just stacked. This is why the Astros are still so good. Yeah. Because they were trading well their good players. They sucked for so long, but they built that system. And so I was in that tandem piggyback thing, and I just really struggled. First couple of games really good, and then after that I just lost it. Like couldn't really throw a strike. They took away my best pitch to help try to develop a changeup and another pitch, and I was just effed. Like I was just like mentally defeated. 2013 was probably the toughest year that I had playing. It was like super hard. I'm in Lancaster, California, in the middle of nowhere. The wind blows straight out to right field. The ground is hard as concrete. A freaking base hit that hits the plate right in front of you is probably bouncing over the shortstop or the first baseman or something and going for a double. Like there's just things that you can't control. Like 13 to 15 games are just like normal. So when you're already a head case and you're playing in games like that, it makes it even worse. So 2013 came and gone, and I came home for the season. I'm just like, well, let's just hope I can go back and get another chance, right? Because I had such a good beginning. Like I was one of the prospects when I got drafted, and so they gave me every opportunity even after this. So 2013 going into 14, I went and played winter ball in Panama with my boy Rome. Just got on a flight and went and played another country, and we had some fun. It was cool. 2014, I went to spring training, and it was probably the toughest time of my life, like as an athlete, because every day I went to the field. I don't know if I told you this, but like every day, like I would go to the field, and this is in a spring training. So minor league spring training, completely different from the big league side. We don't even see the big leaguers.
Yeah.
So when I was in big league camp, I didn't even see the minor leaguers at all. So I'm walking into the locker room on the minor league side, and our clubby was right there. His office was there, and you had to walk through this hallway to go to the locker room. There's 2 locker rooms on the minor leagues. They split up like the young kids and then the older veterans. And I remember every day I'd be driving with somebody else would be driving because we only had like one car, and we all would hop in, and we would be driving to the field, and I would just be like looking down like we would get there, and I would just get like anxious and nervous that like my jersey is not going to be in my locker when I get there, right? So every day, or at least when we knew that they were making cuts, I would walk with my head down real fast by his office, because the clubby would stop you and say, "Hey, let me talk to you a little," just to save you that embarrassment of walking into the locker room and your jersey is not there.
Yeah.
So I would walk in with my head down, just like, if I don't look at you, I know that you're not going to call my name, type of a thing.
Yep.
And I just zoomed right by.
We called those guys the Grim Reapers.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, like, and he was one of the best guys ever.
Yeah.
But that was just his job. So then I would do it, and I can remember this just like it was yesterday. I'd be walking down, and my locker was at the end as soon as we came into the locker room, and I had my head down, and I'd look up, and my jersey's still hanging there. I'm like, yes, let's go. I got one more day. And I would do everything I could for that day, the next day, until cuts happen again.
Yep.
Right. And then same thing, because I was a dude like on the bubble, and then come to find out later in the future, I wasn't even supposed to make a team out of spring training.
Yeah.
But I wowed everybody and had such a good spring training, because I was like, I can't leave the locker, or I can't leave the facility until I did everything that I could possibly do in that day to get better. And then, so I made it out of spring training back to Lancaster for my 3rd year, and I wasn't even on the roster. So this is my 3rd year in Lancaster. I'm not on the roster. And when I met with the manager, we were talking, and it was me and another pitcher that weren't on the roster, and he was saying, you're not going to be on the roster to start. I would love to have you both on the roster, because I'd played for him the previous year, so he knows. You're like, I know what you guys are about. Like Tyson, you had an outstanding spring training. You were the talk of the camp because of like how you performed. So I was like, I earned a job, even though it wasn't the job that I want. I had a job.
Yeah.
Didn't get activated in probably to like a month. So I was showing up to the field working. I still did that same thing. After batting practice, I would go to the bullpen, and I'd do reps. I'd do like towel drills, or I'd do like visualization, like seeing that pitch go to where I wanted to go, right? So everybody else was gone, back in the locker room eating. I'm out there working. Go back in, I'd eat. I'd go in my street clothes, put my shoes on, because I'm not even in the roster, and I'd go and watch the game. I still had fun with my boys, right? Like, I enjoyed it. Just kept doing that, plugging it away, got added on the roster, kind of did okay. And then manager calls me into the locker room where on a road game at the Padres minor league field, calls me into the locker room, and I was like, this is one of two things. I'm going up to AA, or I'm going home.
Yeah.
And pitching coach sits me down, and he's like, what we've been talking about, with you staying on the plate, because I would get real nippy, because I didn't want to give up a homer when I was in Lancaster. You're living on the edge. You throw right down the middle, I think it'd be gone.
Yeah.
So the previous year, I got to really focusing on not trying to throw a pitch that they're going to hit. I try to miss barrels instead of just like, here it is, hit it.
Yeah.
So, my pitching coach had been working on me, like, throw that shit right down the middle, see what happens. Like, what's the worst that can happen? So he starts talking about me, about the things that we've been working on, staying on the plate, use your stuff, you got good stuff. And he's like, make sure you keep doing that stuff when you go to AA. And I was like, just like, when he said that, I knew that like I had made it, type of a thing, because that was the biggest step in the Astros minor league at the time, was getting to AA, because not very many people did it, and AA was like the best place to play in the whole minor leagues. Corpus Christi, Texas, beautiful stadium, great crowds, just a fun place to play, right on the water, a big bridge in the background. So then went to Corpus. They kind of had me as like a starter / like long reliever. My first outing, I was scheduled to throw after the starter, so my name on the lineup was there right after the starter. So it's like, all right, Tice, he's gonna go 4 or 5, and then you got after that. So I'm like, cool, ready. Go through my 3 innings. I gave up 1 hit in 3 innings. Did good. The pitching coach was a guy named Doug Brocale. Now, he wasn't the pitching coach for the AA squad. He was one of the assistants to the GM. Played in the big leagues for 17 years. Awesome guy. He's the man that literally changed my career. The pitching coach had gotten sick. That's normally the AA pitching coach. He was real sick. He was at home, so Broke came up down from his tower to come hang out with us, and he's an awesome guy. Guy from Texas, changed my life. And he literally told me, he's like, dude, you are freaking good. Like, your stuff is good. Like, just talking about, like, the stuff that the previous coach had sent up, and then he saw me, throwing, and he's like, man, like, you're a stud. Just give me the confidence that I didn't have. So that first game I did good. Second game I threw 2 innings, shutout. Third inning, like, same thing, like, pitched good. Actually, no, my second outing, I came in and I gave up a run. Didn't really pitch that well. I kind of got mine screwed a little bit. We were in Midland, Texas, place just like Lancaster, and it's like all like those fields started to come back. Walked a couple guys, ended up getting like the bases loaded. Somebody else had to come in and clean up my inning. They ended up giving up one of my runs, but not very many. Got me out of my situation. Manager calls me in to the very next day, because we used to have meetings with the manager. He used to go over your previous outing. It's the only manager that I've ever known in the history of baseball. After you pitched, you had to go talk about how you did. Everybody hated it. It was the best thing in the world for me because it held me accountable.
Yeah.
Right? So in his locker room, he's not really grilling me, but he's like, why are you being a pussy and do this? Like, you're going to be out there again today. I'm going to put you in the game today, so you be ready. And I'd never thrown back-to-back. I'd been a starter. Now I'm in the bullpen just as a regular person. They don't even care about me. I'm in the bullpen, and he goes, you're going to be back out there today. And when you're out there, I don't want you to do that, whatever I was doing. Like, I can't really remember what he said, but you're going to be back out there today. And I was like, great. First time ever back-to-back. I just do the worst game again. Now I'm mind screwed. I go back out there and I just attack. I was like, what do I have to lose? And our pitching coach was like, throw that shit right down the middle. Throw that cutter. And he's like, dude, you have the best cutter I've ever seen. Just throw that shit right down the middle every single pitch. And I did. And I got out of it 1, 2, 3. Had a good game. And then was just kind of strung together like 2 innings stints. I'd come in 2 innings, 3 up, 3 down every inning. Got confidence. Even more confidence. And then our manager was kind of like a big panic guy. He wanted to win the game, but then you have to develop the players. And the manager's trust is a huge thing. Mm-hmm. So once I started doing better, he started to trust me. He started to put me into those big situations. Then I started throwing at the back end of the game. And then I started closing to where I would only throw if we were up by 3 runs or less, and it was like the 9th inning. So then I got into that, like that different mentality from a starter to a reliever and like a back end reliever where this is my job. Yep. Like, and that's where I developed that confidence because the pitching coach is giving it to me. Like, from what he's saying, he's like, dude, you got some of the best I've ever seen. Confidence kept growing. But this whole time, I never stopped working.
Yep.
I never stopped. I would go, hit fungos to the guys. I would like hitting fungos. I'd hit the infielders fungos when they were doing BP. And then when like the last round would go, I'd go back to the bullpen. I'd get my work in. Same work every day, and just lighten it up. And then there was a time where like all the big shots were coming in, and this is kind of like the back end of this season. I had thrown like 20-something scoreless innings, and then somebody gave up a run. I gave up a run, but then I was back out there, and I had just thrown 2 days in a row, and the pitching coach comes to me and he goes, hey, if there's a save opportunity, I'm putting you in the game again. I got all these, all these dudes from the front office here. I want them to see live what you've been doing because they see it on paper like the reports, but I want them to see live. So this is my 3rd game in a row throwing. Save opportunity comes. I'm freaking jacked. I'm like, I'm in there. I come in, punch out the side, sitting like 95. Just let it out. And like our pitching coach at the end of the game was like, that's what I'm talking about. You showed them. Because when I showed up to AA, he even told me, he was like, you showed up to AA and they told me that you were a nobody. That you were just here as a filler, and then when we had to cut somebody, you were the dude. But I just kept working, kept grinding, and then punched out the side and I freaking went crazy. Like, on the mound, freaking 3 days in a row. I just got 3 saves in a row. But like the crazy thing is if you had like 10 strikeouts as a team, the whole entire stadium got like free tacos, like Jack in the Box or something. So that's why it was so hot.
Free tacos for everyone.
No, seriously. So everybody was going ham. I'm going ham. I'm freaking jacked because that just happened to me. And that was kind of like the turnaround point that gave them confidence. But okay, well, shit, like Tyson's like the real deal. And then they talked to the pitching coach, and he's like, Tyson's the real deal. And he's like, I've been telling you guys that. Like, what are you doing? So then went to the fall league in 2015. Went with the big league team in went to the fall league after the 2014 season. Was the best pitcher in the fall league. Made the fall league rising all-star team. Played with Judge. Played with Lindor. All those guys. I was on that all-star team. Was the most fun I've ever had playing. But I still continue to do the same thing.
Still
working every day. And then I got to like a routine where I was confident about it. Ain't nobody else around here. I'm doing this. You know what I mean? And I was so good at doing what I was good at. And I think that's what people steer away from. You have to put in the work to figure out what you're good at. And I put in so much work, and I was so good at what I was good at, and nobody had a chance. And then 2015 went with the big league team. At the beginning of the year, I went with the big league team to the exhibition games, played in Minute Maid, and then I got sent to the minor leagues. Played in Fresno 2015 here. Same thing, carved up. One of the best pitchers in the entire league. Made the all-star team, and this whole time they just kept telling me, like, you're gonna go up to the big leagues at any time. There's just not a spot for you. You just keep working. Just kept working, and then at the end of the year, August 22nd, I had Tommy John surgery, and it just that's like a tough thing that I don't know if I'll ever like get over like that point, because like the what if. But then I wouldn't be where I am today or where I'm going in the future if that didn't happen. My life would have been in such a different spot to where these things happen, to where when they happen to you, it's like, why me? And then you don't get the answer to it until the next year, 5 years, 10 years down the road. You might not get the answer, but it was supposed to happen for you. Like you were supposed to learn from this opportunity. And that was like the main kind of growing points of my career. Like I had, played a couple more years after that. I went to Mexico. I had some of the most fun of my career playing in Mexico. 2021 was the craziest and most fun, the best team I've ever been on in my life. My daughter was born on a Tuesday, and the Game 7 of the World Series for Mexico was on a Wednesday, and I drove all the way back after she was born, staying the night, no sleep for 3 days, went and freaking, played in the championship game, won, partied all night. It was the craziest experience of my life. Like, I got to do some fun stuff after that, but the things that I learned from the struggles that I had in the minor leagues, especially that 2013, 14, 15 season, is like you can't learn those things from anybody, any professor, any mentor, any book, anything. Like the only way to learn is just to get thrown into the fire and just get whooped up on
and work.
And work out of a situation.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like everything is, anybody can improve their situation if they just work.
Yeah,
that's everything that I've like always believed in.
And it's not always like hard work.
No,
right? Because people see. Here's the thing too: is people get movement confused with progress. They think because they show up to the office and they work all day on a bunch of random stuff that doesn't make any sense, they think they're working hard, and then they get more frustrated when they're not getting the results, and then they think, well, God, it just might not happen to me because I'm not doing it. It's like you're not doing the right work. And only do the right work. Only way to figure out what the right work is and the smart work is to get to work, just like you said. Figure out what works, and if it doesn't work, bang it and move on to something else. Don't keep trying to make a square peg fit into a round hole. You gotta pivot. Like, that sucks, I messed up, all right, I gotta go this way. And then now you realize that doesn't work, so then you go to the places that do work. And
it's also just like stacking days, right? Like,
exactly,
it doesn't matter. Like, okay, you can do a towel work or whatever, and for a month, right? And you not see any difference.
Yes.
But if you do it for 2 months or 3 months or 4 months, and you keep stacking all those things, those reps and all that kind of stuff, it's gonna add up. And then that guy next to you who's not doing all this stuff, right? Who's not taking these extra reps, he's gonna fall behind. He's gonna be 6 months, 8 months, whatever, behind where you are, because you're putting all this extra work in.
Yeah.
That's how I've always, because
think
I would stay after practice every single day and work on one thing. Like at year 11 in the NFL, I would do that.
And you have to work on the things that you're good at. Those have to stay good, right?
Yep.
You have things that you're bad at.
That's what makes you good.
Yes, you have to make them better. But if you're not sharpening that sword that you're already good at,
No doubt.
you're not going to make it. It doesn't matter. You have to find what you're good at, and then you have to make that better.
Yep.
You can't just constantly work on your weaknesses, because then your strengths are going to go to weaknesses.
Yep.
You have to sharpen that sword and keep it sharp all the time. And there's a book, Atomic Habits, and it explains what you were just saying perfectly with that, like projection, where you see the work going, you're putting in the work, but it's not happening, but it's like that bell curve, right? All of a sudden it just starts going up, and then it's just launched. Now you're going straight up versus that like straight horizontal line going up. Everybody thinks it's supposed to go like this.
Nope.
It's not. You keep stacking. You're going to go sideways for a little bit, and then all of a sudden that thing's curve, and then you're going up, and now you're going past to where you would have been even eventually like that.
I got you.
Yeah, we're done wrapping it up.
Yeah, we got to get rolling.
Yeah, I know. She's calling me. We're getting
yelled at by our
kicked out.
wives.
We're just freaking getting in on it. Izzy's asking good questions, but we'll pick up next time on it. Gonna have some good guests coming, so stay tuned next week. Good guests. Enjoy the Niners winning and the Ravens winning.
Ooh.
We'll send them on the Super Bowl.
I'm excited.
And until next time, let's go. Izzy, hit us with that theme music, Izzy.